الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق الباري المصور الغفار القهار الوهاب الرزاق الفتاح العليم القابض البصير الخافض. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا
أهلا وسهلا وحياكم الله وكل عام وأنتم بخير. ما شاء الله تبارك الله. اليوم 16 من 9 1447 الهجري، والموافق يوم الجمعة وهي جمعة النور. ما شاء الله تبارك الله. It is a beautiful يوم الجمعة on the 16th of the 9th 1447 Hijri as we witnessed the third Jumu'ah since the beginning of this Ramadan. And inshallah, with Allah's permission, you will be witnessing 5 Yawmul Jumu'ahs in 1 month. MashaAllah. It is a special Jumu'ah. Yawmul Jumu'ah in the Quran has many layers of perception. Okay? Whilst you in the dunya and we in the dunya only understand it in a linear, secluded, concept in the akhirah, in the jannah, in the reality, in the conscious. Yawm al-Jumu'ah is specifically ordained for those who are prepared to get together and find their soul tribe, soul mate, and understand where their place of belonging is. Okay, that is Yawm al-Jumu'ah, because you can only find Yawm al-Jumu'ah if you are pure, because that is where your ancestors are attracted to you and you are attracted to them through your soul frequency and medium. Okay. You and I must understand one thing in our lives today is the past understanding of your life, of your psychology, of my education, of my understanding of God, of my understanding of life. It has been diverted and inverted into a spiritual evolution. You are now in conscious, you are in the akhirah, in the post-mortem, in the year after, in the new forecast of what a new reality contains. Okay, now what is happening in reality is, why are you seeing a war happening outside? It's because many of you did not overcome the losses. Okay, you did not confront the darkness that lies within you and I. Okay, you could not embrace the fact that you made mistakes. Okay, the nature of earth is that you must make mistakes in order to find the root of the problem, not just doctor the symptoms of it. Okay, this is why you cannot forgive yourself, because you have false beliefs. Okay, your God did not send you into send you a ticket to go on Hajj, so you cannot forgive yourself. You are busy with a nasty God. You are busy with a narcissist God. Why? Because you cannot handle your darkness with confidence. Okay. One thing you must understand is that you know why you made the sin, whatever you call it. We don't call it sins, we call it mistakes, because we can be forgiven for mistakes, but we cannot wash the sins because it belongs to another God. Now, most of you are stuck in a confessionary God that you have to pay, and he will not give you a receipt. Okay? Now, that age has been completed, people. You must pass that, and the only way to overcome that is that you must now learn to understand the nature of why did you want to hurt that man's wife. Why did you want that man to tell his wife something that hurt her? Why were you so selfish? Why were you so jealous over another woman's possessions? Why were you so jealous of what the other woman got? People, all your problems, all your shortcomings, all your enemies are only a reflection of yourself. Okay? It is the characteristics that has not yet matured inside of you. It is that unresolved traumas and scars that was inflicted in your past lives. Okay? why you have adopted that selfish or that jealous or that hatred for anybody. People you don't know. Today you hate Donald Trump, you hate this one. You don't know anybody of those people you hate. Okay? So you must understand that you have been gone through a heavy, heavy confliction where you have been outside of your natural coexistence. Okay? So when you were outside, that is where you were caught with your pants down today. Okay? You followed religions, you followed other gods, but you could not forgive yourself because you could not come to the root of the mistake. You made mistakes because you were supposed to find the answers. Now, if you can find the answers why you did it, then automatically you embrace a new side of you and an old side dies. Now, that was what you had to go through the metamorphosis since COVID. Okay? Embracing the shortcomings. Okay? Understanding that these trials and these mistakes and these ek het gejol met diene en ek het geparty met diene en ek het geroep dagga met diene en ek het gedobbel met diene. It's not sins, it is mistakes that you have made in your lives. And you did not do it because you were malicious, that you wanted to mislead others. You only did it to yourself so you can remedy it and you can find the problem and you can solve it within you without anybody judging you. That's nobody's business what you do with your money. Okay? I have no right to give judgment over you because you have your purpose and reason why you find yourself in whatever you have found yourself in. But since Corona, people, hulle sê as die money as hy nog nie gechange het by 40 jaar oud nie, dan slat vir hom met 'n staal. But that's just the speak word in our culture. What it means, if you have gone through all the mills and booms and you have read the Reader's Digest, and you've traveled all the four corners of the world, you've seen life. You've seen the sea and the skies and the forest, and you've gone through life. You've matured through it. You don't need recognition from a president or from anybody. You already have solace with your God, with your Allah. You already know. You've passed death. Okay? You've passed that trap. You don't have fear. You don't have anxiety. You don't need to know people to embrace yourself because you know how to master your state of consciousness. Okay? These are the reasons why you come into earth. You don't come here with anybody and you don't go with anybody. Okay? You love yourself best if you get the opportunity, and that is how you can help be the lighthouse. Whereas the lighthouse doesn't go in the sea to find the misled or those who have drowned. It's always sending out light from where he is or where the lighthouse is based. You are the lighthouse. Okay? Now Al-Jin will take up this role in the people of the South, okay? For the children, people, for the soul children. When we speak about the soul children, we speak about the children of light. That is where you will find Surah Al Nur, okay? Now, most of you are under the impression that this surah came 1400 years ago to Sayyidina Aisha, okay? You know, Allah skryf nie mills en boons en gee vir julle 'n storie van mense wat verlore geraak het in die deserts en toe het hulle getry om wat te ryp of sy was met 'n affair. Come on man, guys, man. Come on now, man. Julle is besig met Allah. Julle is nie besig met Steven Seagal of Einstein of Albert Stein of los daai stories, man. Dis mos nie God stories nie, man. Dis mills and boons wat julle besig gewees het met julle laaste Quran. The last edition of your Quran was a mills and boons. Okay? You had proven to your children that you were not given access to the heart of the Quran. Okay? Many, 90% of you people. That's why religion has misrepresented your core purpose. That's why your lives, your community lives are always searching. Die masjid maak hier geld, die arme mense maak hier geld. Die God is 'n blind God because hy sorg vir niks wat julle aanbid nie. Okay? You must by now realize that julle is besig met die verkeerde God te hierso, guys. Okay? You must come to terms with that you have been misled by the shaitan. If you don't come to terms with that, you will go deeper into the recession, because you know how hell was built. Hell was built through sincere intentions. Okay? And that's where most of us find ourselves now, in a hell of an experience, always having anxiety. Hulle soek altyd geld vir die masjid se electricity. Hulle soek altyd die imam se wages. Hulle soek altyd geld vir die... Waar is hy God wat moet sorg? Vra vir julleself. Wat het verkeerd gegaan dat hy God dan sy die mat onder julle voete uitgetrek het en julle is altyd besig om te sukkel en te skarrel en te soek en te... Yeah, please wake up. The Nur has to come in, but you have blocked the darkness inside of you because you don't want to come out. You don't want that ignorance to exit you. You don't want that dhulumat, yani, to be broken down, yani, and you come to realize that you have the issue at hand is inside of you, guys. Your curses, your karma, my karma has always been following me because I've been misled in the first trial. Okay? This is where we are currently, and this is where the hadith of if. You see, if and uf. وَلَا تَكُلْ لَهُمَا uf. And then you says if. The hadithul if. Okay, what is if and uf? Okay, ifkun qadim in Suratul Jathiyah. You see, you have in your minds been going through a certain stimulation experience of what you understood a prophet, what you understood a sahaba, what you understood a life, what you understood a God, what you understood a Jannah, what you understood a Jahannam. That module of understanding has been flawed in COVID, people. That don't exist as an operational theater. You cannot live in that same reality any longer. It's a lie now. For your children, for your next 97 generations, your lifestyle of that, yani, when you closed your mosques now, that was the end of your life. That was the end of that simulation. That was the end of that reality. That was the end of that perception. Now you have to change your operational systems now. The truth that you believed in became a lie. The God that you believed in became the Iblis. Okay? The prophet that you thought was a prophet was a dead donkey. Now what are you going to do? Because you are sitting now with artificial intelligence. You have AI now that is telling your children things that you yourself cannot even think about today. You cannot even discuss it with them. You cannot even fathom what is energy, what is resonance, what is frequency, what is the modus of the new operational system. You have been deprived of that knowledge. That ilm did not come to you. You could not decipher how to bring the nur inside of you. Okay? It was fi buyutin adhina Allahu likul, yani everybody has a bayt. Read Surah Nur. You have to keep to Surah Nur now, people. This is not about Sayyidina Aisha that had an affair. That's bullshit. This is about the new dawn that was coming in. The bikr, the new life that was now coming in. And the Sahaba is disputing this, whether it is a true life, a ma'ishatan, yani dhanka, or is it a yani ma'ishat al-akhirah. You are now not sure whether this is really from Allah or whether this is just an illusion. Let me put you into one thing. Allah doesn't come in illusions. Allah is the nur, but you have to switch on your light. You have to come in. It becomes nurun ala nur. Okay? That two nurs, yani, is the amana and the sidq. You have to realize that if you cannot embrace the fact that most of your beliefs and the gods that you understood to be God was a lie, then you cannot die. Okay? because the lie is the truth, so that you can embrace a new you and a new perception of who you are. That's the truth. That is how the program was designed. It's not about anybody. People, nobody else is experiencing the projection except you. Donald Trump is not yani, it's just the simulation is being played through your eyes because only you are seeing it. Nobody else is seeing it. And because you believe it, it becomes a reality and a distraction. Okay? Now, since COVID now, okay, when everything was destroyed in truth as a reality, your mosques, your currency, your ports, your airports, that was a simulation as where your life is going to be. Okay, but as a human being, you are not satisfied with what Allah decrees. You and I, we resist the directive yani, that comes from above, and we go and yani, tell Allah, me, yani, make sujood for you. You crazy man. Me, I'll show you. I can create a better reality, and I can create my own money, and I can create my own this. Now, most of you live in that reality of shaitan that did not want to make sujood for what Allah was bringing in. Okay, this is your condition as human beings in the conscious, unconscious lanes where you are living in the Quran, because the Quran is telling your children now what is your status. It is shame. It is Yawmul Khuzn. It is Yawmul Khazn. Okay, Yawma yughzi Allahu alladhina amanu. Okay, you don't have any biological, yani this is a spiritual order. People understand, you came here in a spiritual form, psychological form, metaphysical form, and you live in a metaphor. Now you and I are now in that form where we are seen through the lenses of whether your past generation was alien to nature or were they yani against the command of Allah, and you will discover that most of them had been against the very essence of the call of Islam. Okay? Because they didn't read the Quran. Look, you must be honest with yourselves. 90% of you don't understand the Quran, so you are following blindly what others do. Do you think your God would send you so stupid and give you the Jannah without you having to go through the trials and tribulations of having to understand that the first leg was a dud? It was a fake run, okay? But it was in order لِيَزْدَادُوا إِيمَانًا بَعْدَ إِيمَانِكُمْ, okay? Now, when the Nur comes in the Zujaja, okay? Now you're going to understand what is the meaning of the Quran. There's nothing else for you to understand in life other than the Quran, people. If you want to understand yourself, understand the Quran, because your life, your entire life, from now and beyond this time and before this time, everything is imprinted and stamped in the Quran, and the Quran is inside of you. It's a frequency. Okay, you carry that DNA inside of you. If you are of the soul tribes, okay, if you are of the jinn tribes, then you must study the Quran, because you're not going to get the meaning from the author. You're going to get it from another jinn. Okay, that's why you're afraid. Your species is afraid of the dark, because you are not aware of what it is to live in the light. Okay, and that is how Allah Ta'ala destroyed the last generation since COVID. Okay, what you are thinking is a reality is actually the doomsday that you are now experiencing, and the woe that is now in your minds. Wallahi thumma wallahi, we in our lives, we have no woe, people. Wallahi thumma wallahi, Allah did not implicate me, nor my wife, nor my children. We are safe where we have to be. We have no anxiety. We don't worry about when must I come home, what's going to happen to me, because we have the trust, and we have trust for the wakala. Yani, that is where we will have the amana. Okay. Now, at this moment in time, for you guys, the situation is not really healthy as far as your psychological, metaphysical, biological, yani neurological order, because look, you have now already determined where you are in terms of your hell experience. Okay, you are in the midst of a war, and this war has to take this age down. Look, this is the war of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Let me put it to you straight. Okay, this is the third slash now that we are waiting on. Okay, which has to be a nuclear, which has to testify to many deaths. Okay, the middle has to fall here. Okay, remember what I'm telling you. I cannot tell you more than that. But this is what is actually being prepared for, so that your reality that you are once believing in now will now go into a darker stage of your commodities are going to become double and triple, because now obviously the Hormuz, the Strait of Hormuz is going to be that's going to be locked forever now. Okay, that's the end of that age. Okay, when Iran comes, it takes everybody down because he holds the frequency. He's the oldest civilization in terms of the mind control. Okay, they were the Abadatun Nar. They know how to control the mind. Okay, they used to call them the fire worshippers. Not fire worshippers, people. They're damn intelligent, extremely intelligent, extremely. If you must open the file, you'll be surprised who is the people that runs America, and perhaps the world. Mexico, Italy, and China, and Iran has the same color flags. You must ask yourself why. Okay, you must understand why there was an invasion on that drug lord in Mexico. Okay, 2 weeks ago. It's all interrelated, people. You have to understand and be part of the club in order to understand the maneuvering that is happening. But what you need to understand at this moment in your lives is that your reality is going to be swiped away. Okay, we are heading, and for those of us that are still in that timeline of thinking that you've made it past a deadline, whilst you are dead already. You need to embrace for a full-scale war on all fronts. Yeah. Okay, look, that past don't exist anymore. You'll find France, UK, Germany. They have to come in now because they have to close the age now because it's a new currency, and then they have to sit over the debt. Because the problem is we can't forgive the debt. We can't erase the debt. We know the debt was the whole facade. It was the whole mislead in this whole reality. Okay, your banknotes is a false promise. Your money that you think is money, is an illusion. Okay, the gold that you think is gold is just a share on a stock exchange. Basically, guys, you live in a fully false imitation of a reality, and there you went and gave it a religion to make yourself feel holy. Okay, so by now you must know that that lie, it's beyond death. Okay, and your children had to ask Allah to excuse them from your heedlessness and your self-destruction. Okay, in a reality. Okay, this is what happens in. So we have the Baytun Nur. We have to find where our ancestors are, because obviously the last generation could not lead their current generation to their ancestors' houses because they gave them foreign ancestors. They gave them Sahaba that they themselves don't know, okay, which don't exist. It was only an animation. Okay, it's only because you believe it because of your low frequency. But now, because the planet's frequency is now upgrading and you have not been given the promotion, you are now going to be in conflict in the Hadithul Ifk. You are going to accuse Sayyidina Aisha of being an adulterer. Okay, because you could not see the new bikr, the new virgin coming into life. Okay? This is what we are witnessing in Surah An-Nur. This is when the Quran speaks the truth to her, soul tribes, not to those who manipulated and changed the cause of this mission into a commercial flight. Right? You only live without money. You cannot live, guys. So you must by now already estimate where is your current position and allocation. Are you in hell or are you in Jannah? There's only two things that exist, dark or light. Okay? This is real, people. Don't look at the places that you are because nothing is happening outside. It's only being processed internally. Your niyyah is internally, your reward is internally, your upgrade is internally, and this is what this new Gen Z is going to be gifted because obviously hulle paas en hulle mas hulle diep in die dungeon gaan gooi of the Wi-Fi and of the digital platforms in van die digital geld. Now they have no guidance there, but it was not the doings. It was the parents that was heartless to have put their children into a dark room without supervision. Okay. Now what happens now is that the lights is off on your side. You don't know what's happening inside your children's homes, in their bait, but there's a bait to Nur that Allah has opened up for them. And that is where their ancestors are because they come from their ancestors. Their specifications will now align in frequency to attract the wisdom, to attract the cultural sovereign and trust of the ancestors, which we, our gene, has planted, okay, since the COVID, okay? Because we hold the footage, people. You cannot erase that because we saw it all. This is the story we're telling the world. This is the story we're telling all of the Alameen. This is what happened. This is the date what it happened. This is what they did. This is how they buried their mothers. This is what they did. This is what we put onto our cards, okay? And this is how we get the approval of the mass of the soul tribe, sorry, okay, where we can now return to our natural disposition and embrace the deen of Allah, which is the fitrah, not Sunnism, not Shiism, not Qadianism, not Judaism, no, there's no such a thing that exists in Jannah. What exists with your parents, with your ancestors in the Jannah is your sovereign cultural identity and your sovereign knowledge of self and self-revelation. That's what you need, and that's now the mechanism that we as the soul tribes are being gifted to understand. How do you live in Jannah? Julle almal is klompie verlore mense. Julle het niks idee wat gaan julle doen in die Jannah. No, it's but it's only because you don't know that you are currently serving your sentences in hell that you don't even bother how to get to Jannah. There are those, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, the next 7 generations are already in Jannah because there is no time by Allah, people. Okay? It's just you need to understand how deep you are in the sea and how deep you've drowned into your own sins. Okay, that's why you have to run every time to another place to find forgiveness or to find ease or to find peace because you don't have peace inside. The war is inside. Okay, so where the world is going to now, people, embrace yourself for impact now. This is the end story. This is the end game. Okay, if you don't have an exit plan, if you didn't exit by now, if you don't know your soul family, and you say after me, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Okay, that's the only thing because wama alayka illa al-balagh, ma arsalna alayka biwakil. You cannot take care of anybody, people. They kan van niemand in die Jannah bring, they kan van niemand uit die Jahannam uitlead. It's all just a simulation that is going through the one eye of yours. Okay, not 2 eyes, only 1 eye. But because you are still stuck in your physical reality, which was your trial when you came into this dimension, is how to exit it whilst you are still alive. Okay, you have been given a manifestation of exiting while you are dead. Now that doesn't make sense to your next generation because they are already alive because they're given the new operational system as to how the new data base and the data centers are feeding them with a complete brand new identity of how to go about navigating themselves into this new life, and they cannot take their parents with them. This is the order of the system. This is how the conscious. You will find now that people is going to disappear very fast now, because look, you have to have made your moves already, because it's now all in the in the conscious realm, in the unseen realm, because that's where we're gonna live forever now, because we don't need to see each other. We had to find our soul tribes, feel them, synchronize on them, build their IP onto our track. Okay, whoever belongs, even if there are only 1,000, that's your Jannah forever, people. That's the people you choose to be forever with. There's no end to that. Okay, but you have to have your vibrations on. You have to have special ilm to pull off something like that. Okay, we done it. Wallahi, wallahi, we done it for our. We didn't do it by ourselves. Our ancestors did. Okay, they did it a long time, and they just led us into the culture with Allah Subhanahu wa Taala's qudra. What I'm saying to you is the truth, because you do not know what is happening in the Jannah, because you are still residing in hell. Die lig is nog altyd af waar wat julle is. Okay? There's a lot of us that is here, not by means of our religious identity, because of our heart, and because our mother's connection, and because of the caliber of our great mothers and ancestors from this land. Okay, this is the ulul albab, this is the ulul azm, this is the ahlul bayt. Okay, this is our time, people. We know where we are, because we are not in the in the facade of where you find yourself at loss. We are exactly where we are, where we have to be, because we did not mistake our identity as something which came from someone else. It was gifted by our mothers, and that was gifted by their mothers. That's why we know what a prophet is, and a prophecy is, and a messenger is. It's not things that you see in the physical dunya in hell. It's things that has to be unlocked for you once you have purified your heart and your soul. Okay, once you have come out of the war, right? So rest assured that there is a battalion of people in this homelands that has a capital, and that has a tribe, and has a homeland. Okay, and that is where they will connect with the ancestors, so that we can go through this next 7 generations of 1,000 years, where they will still remember their cultural identities, their ancestral diets, and they will not be so biased of wanting to imitate the Arabs or any other nation, but they will have pride in their sovereign cultural orientations and identity. Okay, this is Surah Al Nur. This is coming today. This is what we have seen descend today. This is the Tanazzalul Malaikatu wa Ruhu fiha. Don't wait for the 27th, people. We can tell you with all honesty is the Yuom Al Nur is in. The Nur is come. Okay, the ships are coming in with Nur. But if you've blocked it out in the Jahannam, malish Allah give you forgiveness, inshallah ta'ala. Anyway, it's almost again time for iftar, for buka. Enjoy your evening, and may Allah ta'ala grant your ancestors the highest abodes in the Jannah, where we anticipate their presence. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
يا مصطفى كل شيء